Hello and welcome to Irish Football Fan TV. This is the match preview of the FIFA World Cup qualifiers. It is D-Day on Thursday. Republic of Ireland taking on Portugal in the Aviva. That's going to be a tough task. Sean, how are we feeling going into this one?
I'm so optimistic. Come on. What are you talking about?
I don't know if I am now. We know, look, in my opinion, I think Portugal are the best team in the world. But I genuinely believe that. I think they've got so many good players. They've almost got two players for every position. I think if they actually manage to find a way to stop picking Ronaldo, they'd actually do better. But that's on Roberto Martinez for that. But yeah, I suppose just from our point of view, I mean, no Evan Ferguson, who has been the one who's got us goals over the course of this international campaign, or this World Cup campaign. So he's out. He hasn't been scoring for Roma, but I don't think we ever really worried about that because he was still delivering the goods for us. Looking around, the rest of the midfield's a bit of a worry as well. So that's kind of why I'm not optimistic. I know you're obviously tongue-in-cheek there, but how are you actually feeling going into this now that we know kind of the squad that we have, and then obviously the left wing-back position, that situation as well, with Kevin O'Toole coming in as I'd say cover for probably Liam Scales.
Yeah, I think if you focus on Ferguson maybe for a minute, I don't think if there was a game to lose him for, as crazy as it sounds, but Portugal probably isn't a bad one to lose him for. I mean, he's not going to see much of the ball. I suppose you're hoping that if a chance does come and it comes to Ferguson, then he's your man to finish it. But of games to lose him for, I'd have probably picked this one, to be honest with you. Elsewhere, there's not really much, I don't think, Hamer could have done, really. Obviously, the big news was Kevin O'Toole. I know you probably come on to it, but that is the problem area with Manning out. I suppose what could you really have done? I know Keith Tracy was talking about bringing James McLean back into the setup. I mean, it's the same old story. If that's where we're at, then I mean, what can you really do? That's just the reality of this squad at this time.
Yeah, well, I think that's where it kind of comes into the evolution of the squad. At some stage, you can't keep going back to players that maybe have done stuff obviously in the past. He's a Centurion, but I think his time has passed, and I think everyone has a sell-by date. I think James has passed that from an international point of view. Although, in saying that, the level that O'Toole is at, from speaking to Kevin Kilban, I spoke to him and he told me, he said it without kind of, in a sense, saying that he didn't want me to kind of put it out publicly because he was afraid he didn't want to kill his career before it already began, but he was basically saying that Kevin O'Toole would be no better than a League of Ireland player, other than the DPs, as in the likes of Son and those types, the Thomas Mullers of this world. They're obviously the DPs and they're kind of at that league.
Yeah.
But he was saying, if he was that good, he would have heard of him a bit more. You know what I mean? So it's a strange one that he's been called in that sense. I think Honohan was probably going to be called up, but injuries was probably the reason for that, why that didn't happen. So, do you know what I mean? I don't really care. Do I believe he's going to play? No. So what's the harm in having an actual close-up look at him? I know it's a World Cup qualifying week, and you could have probably brought in McLean for safety and stuff like that. But again, what sort of message does that send out to other people who are maybe looking to come in or get a chance or whatever? And obviously he'd been speaking for a long time about getting his citizenship and his passport and all that sort of stuff, his paperwork sorted. So that's been going on since May or before then. So he was supposed to come in the May camp, but for some reason something happened there. So he'd been talking about coming in. So he was on the radar to come in anyway. Whatever way you want to look at it, I mean, Coleman can play left back as well, so that's an option on that side. Festi could play right wing back, so there is that option. It's.
I mean, you would worry. However, I know Coleman was excellent in Portugal, but if it is Coleman at right back, I mean, is it if it's Doherty at left back, maybe is that?
I think Doherty's out.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, he's injured. All right.
So it's to be Festi.
I think
on the right.
I think Kevin O'Toole kind of personifies this period in Irish football no better than maybe anything else. You could maybe make the argument Jason Malumbi in the last squad probably did too. But when you look at Kevin O'Toole and say, he's come from nowhere, and he's called up into the squad for the final international window, and I mean, just a little bit of continuity would be nice in the squad. Like, I mean, Andrew Moran's back in the squad again, just out of nowhere. Like, there just seems to be no
out of the cold.
There just seems to be no plan with going forward with, you know, we're gonna get a relatively kind of a base of a squad, and you know, it just seems people come, people go, they play, then they're gone the next one. You know, I think this experiment has come to its end. I think.
Yeah, I think the Flames ran out on it, but I do have the squad up here, and actually, so Ryan Manning is just struggling. He's not actually out.
I think he's suspended.
Oh, well then he'd be out then for the first game probably, but he'd be back for the second. But he's in the squad. I think he said he was struggling, but Dara O'Shea can also play right back as well if needs be. Jacob Ryan can play right back then as well. Hopefully not right wing back, but ideally you'd want them playing centre half. And then, as I say, you've got Seamus who will likely play against Portugal. I doubt he'll play against Hungary. Two of the biggest teams in that space of time, and he hasn't played football. I just don't see him.
Coleman.
Yeah. I don't think he'll finish.
I'd be amazed if he doesn't play in both.
I don't think. No, I just think because of his legs. I don't.
Yeah,
mean,
no, I understand that, and I still think he nearly at this stage. I'm talking about probably him and Keller as the first names on that team sheet for this one. Just after what he done the last window, he was excellent.
I'm not saying that I don't want him to play.
No, I understand you're talking about from a fitness level.
Yeah.
I understand that, but I think they're going to try squeeze every drop out of him. I mean, he played virtually the full 90 against Portugal last time.
87 and 60, I think. Yeah.
I think we'll see something similar again. I wouldn't be surprised, especially if we're going to Hungary with something to play for. I think he's definitely.
Yeah, I wouldn't be against it, but I think Festi needs to obviously up his game, because the two games that he played, the Portugal game anyway, I know you could see a lot of kind of hand throwing and stuff like that. People were getting on his case.
It's a lot of square peg round holes with this squad. Like, I mean, like Festi was playing as a winger. You know, I understand he kind of does that round. He goes up and down, but let's play a winger. I understand why he's in there for the physicality, and I probably actually called for it in the last window to play him like that, but it didn't work. I didn't think he was bad necessarily. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't think we'd have seen maybe much more from anyone else that would have come in, but I think we really lacked maybe just someone that knows the position, knows. There seems to be at times, you said a lot of hands up in the air, but a lot of from teammates too. I think there was a bit of, not anger, maybe annoyance from other people that he wasn't doing maybe certain things that he should have been doing. Yeah, frustration's the word, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I think it was just more the fact that we were in Portugal when we were on the counter at times. He, you know, his first touch and just, you know, a bit clumsy at times. I think that's what people, or like his teammates were kind of like, we need you to hang on to the ball when we don't have. When we're not defending, we have the ball, we need to kind of hold on to it, take the pressure off the defence in the midfield. So I think that's what it was. I remember Malumbi kind of getting on his case, and it looked like Seamus was getting on his case as well. But yeah, you're saying, like, play Ogbene and play maybe Mikey Johnston or something. They're out and out wingers who can, like, obviously Ogbene's got the pace and Johnston's got the trickery, or set up in a 3-5-2, probably like we did against them away. He did it at the home game against Armenia. So go 3-5-2 and put Ida and Parrott up top and pack the midfield and pack the defence and go ultra defensive and try and nick a chance.
Or go with Jack Taylor again. I mean, you just can't predict this manager. I mean, half the time, I can't remember, we said at the time, I don't know how many defenders played against Armenia at home. He sets up Jack Taylor out wide, I think, in Armenia, or he was playing early yesterday.
At 10, yeah.
Like, you just... We could sit here for 2 hours and talk about how we'd set up the team, and it'll come to tomorrow night and suddenly it'll be, you know, whatever.
My starting 11s, to be fair, haven't been far off. I think there's always been one wild card.
What does that say about you?
Well, no, I mean, when I'm actually saying, if I want to pick a team that would start, that he's picking kind of maybe one player, like it's like a wild card in between. That could be like a Taylor over a Malumbi or something like that, you know what I mean? But it's very close to kind of... But I do it in a realistic way. I don't be like picking like Andrew Moore and Jack Taylor and someone else who are kind of attack-minded. You know what I mean? I think the key part here is that we're going to have Josh Cullen back for this one, because we lost him for the Armenia game, and people have their opinions whether they think he's great or whether we think he's not. I think he's decent. I think he's probably our best midfielder, and he's playing in the Premier League. But that doesn't say a lot about the rest of our midfielders, because they need to up their game. That's our weak point of our team. In our spine of our midfield is not strong. Finn has scored at the weekend. Again, you could look to set up the way he did against Bulgaria, but I don't believe we will against Portugal. So I believe it's going to be a 3-5-2, and I think we're going to have to pack the midfield out of energetic sort of players, and players who are, I suppose, disciplined in their role. And I think that's what we're going to need tomorrow. We're going to need an almost perfect performance. Bodies on the line, blocking everything. Similar performance to what we did against Portugal away, but obviously not concede. Or if we do concede, make sure we score.
I think it's such a pity that Malumbi's out. And then, again, I was critical of him before the Portugal game the last time, but I think he may give a great account of himself in the last window. Still, again, it's probably the standard of a midfielder in this setup. You don't need to do anything really amazing to maybe elevate yourself and say, well, geez, he has to start. But like you talk about Cullen coming back in, I think Malumbi had a greater impact in that last window than I've seen maybe out of Josh Cullen for a long time, if ever. I think Josh Cullen is one of the luckiest footballers ever. I mean, could you name another player that'll comfortably sit in that 6 on the island? Or in America, maybe. There might be someone dotting around.
In the plays for him? No, I don't think so. I think Josh Cullen has shown a lot of consistency over the years, and that's why he's been picked. I mean, you look at whoever managers has been there, they've always picked him. So I
don't see another option. I think it's just one of those. I genuinely think he's just the only option. And don't get me wrong, he probably is the best of our defensive midfielders, but I'm saying what's coming behind him is why he's still there. There's nothing to even challenge him, and that's
in a sense. But I think that's a bit harsh. I do think he's really gone up in his career. I think since he kind of came in under Stephen Kenny, and then he was never taken out of the team. And I think he's played under managers. Vincent Kompany is obviously doing very well now at Bayern Munich. He really he signed him twice. He really liked him as well. So I think that kind of shows the level that he is at, and I think he's been a driving force for Burnley as well. I genuinely believe he does a lot of stuff that goes unnoticed. A bit like Glenn Whelan over the years, a bit underappreciated by fans, and I think that's why. But I do get your point that there is a lack of players coming through underneath him for sure. I don't disagree with that, especially that sort of position, because you look at Knight, Malumbi, Taylor, they're all kind of further forward. They're kind of more 8s than 6s, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think maybe where the frustration comes from, maybe with me or possibly other people, is he is our best midfielder. Even though I've just criticised him heavily there, right? He is our best midfielder, right? And I think that's where the frustration comes from, is we're crying out for someone just to progress the play a little bit, and he's unbelievably negative. He stifles that attack anytime we're going forward. He'll get it and he'll turn sideways or he'll go backwards. And he's saying just the odd time, just get your head up and play it quickly, and he just doesn't do that.
He did it against Bulgaria, Matt Doherty. That's the goal. He set up that goal, the header.
But you see that, so he
has the capabilities.
So he has the capabilities, and he doesn't do it enough. And at times against someone like a Portugal, it takes just that little bit of quality that we're gonna need. I mean, if whoever plays up top is gonna be so isolated, probably.
Yeah, I'd say Ida.
It's gonna take a little bit of quality, and people say he has it. Fine. Let's see it. Let's see it from him, because it's not. He's getting to that stage now. He's probably in his late 20s, 30s, maybe at this stage.
I'd say late 20s. Like 27, 28.
Yeah, it's getting to that stage now. How many opportunities are this group gonna get? We're a long way into this project now, from the Kenny era all the way up to now. It's a long time coming. We need to see people finally just step up and I'm not saying take down Portugal, but I'm saying just play to the standard that they're capable of.
Like he does for Burnley. But again, he's in a club environment in Burnley, and they're training and they're working on things so much longer than they obviously get to in the international break. But I kind of from our point of view, I'm just trying to think of where our goals might come from. Like, I think it's always going to be that case of set pieces is going to be our strong point. A Nathan Collins header or a Jake O'Brien header. Again, you're kind of talking about players that probably need to stand up and have a real stellar performance. I think Collins and O'Brien did that in Lisbon, and I think that they could do it again. I don't think Darragh O'Shea was as strong in that game as I've previously him. I thought he maybe had a little bit of a lack in confidence. But he's doing well with Ipswich, and I like Darragh O'Shea, and I really thought he was going to kick on from Ipswich and move. He obviously signed a new contract and stuff like that, and it's obviously financially a lot better for him, so that's worked out for him. But I would be happy with that back three: Collins and O'Brien as a back three. I think that's fine. I don't see any problem with that, especially against Portugal. I see Coleman on the right. Whoever he goes with on the left, I think naturally it should be Scales if it can't be Manning. And then you'd probably look in the midfield and you're looking probably Malumbi. He's out actually, isn't he? So yeah, Taylor, Cullen and Azaz, I'd say it will be. And then it just kind of, is he going to go, well, if he's gone in that formation, so you're probably going to have to go with it too. So it could be like another midfielder. And then I'd say Adam Eden.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect him to go with two strikers. Just from what he's done in the past.
And that's why I don't think he'll pick Troy Parrott for this game. Because it's going to be a game where he's just isolated for the majority. So it's not a good game to have Troy in. Troy's better when he's kind of bringing players into play that are going to advance past him. And then he can give the ball out and then try and get into the box to try and be on the end, which is how he plays with Alkmaar every week. And that's how he's kind of been coached the last 2 years at Alkmaar. And that's why he's getting so many goals, because of the way he plays. But they play in like a 4-3-3 formation, which is kind of like a very Dutch way of playing. Obviously, this is going to be like a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-1-1 or whatever you want to call it. But I think that it will be Ida just purely because of his physicality.
I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's enough to just be physical. I would like to see the pair of them. I'd like to see Ida and Parrott, particularly after the Armenia game the last time. They came on together towards the end, and you kind of had Parrott just kind of doing his own thing.
I didn't like that though.
It was possibly the way that game had kind of panned out. They were down to 10 men. It was really kind of all over the place But I think if you do go with maybe a Finn Azaz or a Ogbene even, to kind of go up there and help Ida out. I would like to see someone in there. Like I think
Ogbene, sorry.
Yeah, go on.
Just want to come in there now. Ogbene is actually a good. Do you remember Kenny used to almost play him as a striker not too long, and he was good there. So I would not.
Yeah,
I would have no problem alongside Ida.
If it wasn't Parrott, I would have Ida, but I would like to see someone. I think Ogbene's end quality lacks. He's lacking that end quality just a little bit. I think he's a great athlete, and I talk about progressing the play. He does that when he gets the opportunity.
He used to be good for a goal. Not so much anymore.
I just think, you talk about set pieces. We didn't get a corner in Portugal. It's how can we even get that far? We didn't. I can't even really remember us venturing to their half in the second
and
half.
Don't forget, we did score against Portugal in that time with John Egan scored.
Yeah, it was on a set piece, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That could be a good opportunity.
You need to create opportunities to even earn set pieces. It's not just actually we rely on a corner. You need to earn them, and that's where I'd worry and say we don't really seem to have the ability to even get into that area. Like,
just get us up the pitch.
It's just we're going to be pinned in like it was, and I suppose a lot depends on what happens in Armenia. I suppose like they're off first, and I wouldn't imagine he'll change his team selection based on what happens in Armenia. I would imagine he'll have his team picked and ready to go. But even at that, even if Hungary were to win, I just can't see how you can even change your approach to this game. Because if you come out here and try play, you're going to get battered. And if you sit in, are you going to create any chances to score? And at that, like if they win, you need something. And, it's...
They are, I believe, missing Bruno Fernandes from this game. So he and another player, I forget who the other player is, but I know that Bruno's out.
Yeah.
even though, as I said earlier at the start, they have an abundance of quality anyway. But it's just saying it's a big player kind of who's not going to be one to worry about, one less to worry about. They still have Bernardo Silva and all of these sort of players. So like, and Ronaldo, of course.
I think the fans have a big part to play in this too. I mean, if you know the way the Aviva is when it's rocking and it's up for it. If there is a positive result in Armenia, and I think the players just need to really feed off that coming out. They need to, if they're at it in that first 5-10 minutes, just intense. You don't even need to create a chance or be the better team. They're just intense. They snap into a tackle. The place will be bouncing, and you know yourself, anything can happen. Like but the fans need to be up this, and it's a two-way street. If we can hang in this game, maybe belief starts to grow and that atmosphere starts to build, and we're into the last 15 minutes and see how it goes.
Yeah, shades of Germany, Shane Long. That's probably the last big result we've had. I mean, you might count Scotland, but I don't really count that as like a giant killer.
Yeah, we haven't had a.
It was a great day out.
It even feels like a long time since we had a win of any sort, kind of just anyone even half around us that we've beaten. It feels like a really long time.
Hungary probably when Troy Parrott scored in the last minute. It was a friendly before they went to Euros, but it was But that's kind of where we're going with it, like, and it's. I mean, I do believe that we could nick something, whether it's a result. But as you say, a lot of things are going to come down to the game before and knowing. We could be out of it before we even play that game. But I don't think Hallgrim's is going to change his approach. I think it's going to be try to avoid humiliation more than anything else, because if we do play, we'll get picked apart and humiliated. Whereas if we can just kind of keep it tight for a lot of the game, I think we'll actually... We just need to stay in the game, as you said, till like the last 15 minutes, and then maybe throw something on that. If we lose 1 or 2-0 at that stage, so be it. I wasn't as down about losing to Portugal, because I was like, you know what, we gave a good account of ourselves. Maybe not in an attacking sense, but we didn't fold. We were disciplined. We knew we were up against a really good team. So if we can match that performance and just obviously try and go one better and try and get a goal, that'd be amazing. But we had hard luck stories with Portugal in the last few years, so it's not an easy game for us to play as well. I know that.
But I suppose this Portugal team isn't impenetrable. Like, Hungary were up in the first game they played. That game was turned around. Hungary were leading that game. Obviously, Hungary got a result in the last one. Yeah, Hungary are better than us.
Hungary have a top class player in their ranks.
Fair play to them. They don't have 11 of them. You can't. Let's not say that you can't get at this Portugal team. I mean, I would disagree with you in you saying they're the best team in the world. I think I would totally disagree with that.
Who's the best?
Who's the best? I'll come back to you. Not Portugal.
Okay.
It's not Portugal.
Nations League winners, weren't they recently against Spain, who were the Euros winners?
I think Spain the best team in the world. There you go.
Well, they bet Spain, but anyway, fine. Go on.
Portugal, you can get at them. I think. Let's not over-egg them. They're very good, really good, one of the best in the world. But we just need to stand up. We have a handful of Premier League players in here, and who all seem week in, week out to play far above how they turn up for Ireland. Just let's see it. Let's see it, and just give a good account of ourselves here. And as you said, don't fold. It's happened before. We beat the world champions, the actual best team in the world at the time. We can go and we can
fight the title, yeah.
We can get these.
Okay. Just to finish off then, so your prediction for this one against the best team in the world?
1-0 Jake O'Brien.
Header?
We're all going to the States.
Header?
Yeah, sure. From a free kick, we don't get a corner in the game.
Okay. I'm gonna say 1-1. We love that result, and I think it's a realistic result. It's not like going over the top as well. I'm not saying you're going. I'm just being in my own head. Obviously my heart, I'd love to say 1-0, but I think my head's overruling here and saying 1-1. And I think we'll score first, and I think they'll equalise late on.
We're due one.
Yeah, but like, look, if we won, I'd absolutely ecstatic. So I have no problem if it go one better. Absolutely no problem at all. Absolutely take it. Like, who scores? Do you know what? I'm gonna say we get a penalty. I'm gonna say Almeida scores it.
Oh,
Yeah,
I like that.
because I remember we played a game against Holland,
Yeah.
and he didn't score in an early pen. Yeah, in that one. So that's why I don't know. I just have a feeling, and I think he could be the one to do it. And we've got a good record of penalties in the Aviva, I think, as well. In fairness, the lads step up. So I'd be delighted to see that. Yeah, I just think it's all going to be dependent on what happens before that. We're all going to be watching to see what's going on and eager to find out, and just hope it brings it to the last day over in Hungary and we can try and get a result. Imagine getting 4 points out of these next two, or 6, but 4.
I think we probably all said at the start of the campaign, if we went to Hungary with something to play for, that's a successful campaign. I know what happened.
In a sense,
I know what happened in Armenia happened, right? And obviously that'll be what probably everyone remember, unless we, beat Portugal tomorrow or whatever. That's what people remember. But a lot of us said, don't be out of it early. How many campaigns we had now we were gone after the first window? I know, in essence, we nearly were. But if we're going to Hungary with something to play for, in the grand scheme of things, then so be it. Maybe 5 out of 10.
Okay, yeah. It's not really much more to kind of touch on. It's like we're kind of just throwing the dice at this stage and just hoping for the best, aren't we? So, yeah, let us know what you think. Do you think we can beat Portugal? Do you think we can qualify still? Let us know what you think. Huge shout out to the guys here in Extano in the Freight Building on Sheriff Street for once again letting us record in their studio. We will speak to you soon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and we will speak to you soon. Thanks for watching.